Welcome to Academy Civil Services. In this video, I am going to explain you the polity concept of equality before law and equal protection of law. Two concepts which are very much important for our prelims examination perspective and mains examination also. The difference between the two may be asked. And this will be coming under our fundamental right. So that's also why this particular concept we have to learn. Before we talking about equality before law or equal protection of law, we should understand the background or the issue related to with that. That is the opposite way of equality is inequality. That means there is an inequality if you are not treating everybody equally in front of the law. That means if you are taking the example of some of the people are considered are equal in front of the law, but others are not considered as like the person one. You can see in this illustration of the PPT, the person one, which may be the rich person, maybe the royal family. So there's the law which is there in the particular country or a region or a state, they are treating this particular law only for the rich person or a higher caste people or particular religion. So only one or two are treated equally in front of the law, but the three or four and five are not treated equally. That means the other people of the society may be women, maybe the Dalit people, maybe the LGBT community, or maybe the black people in terms of racial, in terms of religion, in terms of the caste, in terms of gender, in any form, if there is a discrimination and nobody is treated equally in front of the law, that resulting into inequality. For example, we have seen that unequal or inequality among the particularly, especially on the basis of gender, that is, women are not treated equally in especially for getting public employment, or even if they are getting public employment, they are not treated equally and dignity is violated. Similarly, in the case of LGBT rights, now the issues are coming in the news. The same-sex marriages, now there is a proposal, it should be added to the Special Marriage Act. Because of their marriage is not added to the Special Marriage Act, this has resulted into violation of their right to equality as a fundamental rights. Now, the recent context also in the coming news, we have seen that another incident that we have seen in Kerala, especially in the few years back, Madhu was a person who theft a race, and after that incident, people in that region and joined together. That is, a group of people became a mob, and that mob finally lynched and killed this Madhu, resulted into Dalit atrocity or a scheduled tribal people of India also facing this discrimination from the mainstreams because they are the weaker section and the vulnerable sections. And the law, even though we have a law, but they are not treated equally. So these are the problems that we face when we are treating everybody in equal ways. So that way the significance of equality before law is a fundamental, and that's why we have added this particular concept in our fundamental rights under the Indian Constitution, that is equality before law. So we have to study regarding the both the concept of equality before law and equality before law. When we have established equality before law, that means everybody will be treated equally here, whether it is one, two, three, four, five, every person, irrespective of the gender, irrespective of the caste, irrespective of the place they born, any reason, any factors, whatever it is, they are treated equally in front of the law, and nobody enjoying any special privilege in front of the law. If any punishment is given, the same punishment in case of criminal cases will be available to any rich person and also will be available to the poor person and royal family member or higher caste family member or a lower caste family member or a middle class family, any kind of any punishment, if there is attracted to or convicted by any particular offenses, any persons, they will get same punishments, whatever this will be, that were the whatever the things is already provided by the law. So this is the example how we are treating equally in front of the law. That is equality before law. But the problem with equality before law, that means whenever we are treating equally everyone and irrespective of their circumstances, because in some of the people in India, especially women, maybe socially they were discriminated because social strata or social system, which is patriarchy, and patriarchy not allowing the woman to get education, not allowing women to get employment, and that resulted into their marginalization. So this has resulted they are not having the access to the public resources. They are not having the access to the public employment and other courses. And this is resulting into when we are treating equally everybody, irrespective of their circumstances, nobody is enjoying the real access, or we can say there is no equity in the concept of equality before law. That means we have removed the special privileges, absence of special privileges. Nobody is above the law, that we have to treat everyone equally. So only rich person or upper caste people or the privileged person will be, that means because of the historical factors, maybe educationally and socially they are getting the access because they have the money, and they have the, according to the social strata, they are the upper classes. Because of that they are able to get the access, but the privileged, after the privilege, when we are considering marginalized or weaker section or a vulnerable section like differently abled or LGBT community, they are not getting sufficient access to the public resource or a public access or governance. In that terms, this equality before law resulting into inequality or discrimination in our society. So that Indian Constitution and Article 14, it also add one more concept, that is equal protection of law. That means in this particular law, everybody will be treated equally in terms of their circumstances. For example, if woman is required little more support in terms of reservation for education, reservation for public employment, if there is some supporting system is there, if we have given to the women can also get employment, women can also get education. Through that the empowerment of women will be possible, and that social barrier, that barrier in front of them, that means which is the barrier which is affecting them to get the access. So the government, through the initiative of reservation or some supporting scheme or any financial incentives through the government scheme or a policy, through that they will get an access to, like others people, they will also get an access to the public resources and public employment, or whatever the policy and government which the government is provided to in the every person as an inclusive governance objective. Similarly, differently able, because they are physically, they are not able to move like the normal person. So in that cases, if they also require an assistance from the government, so we are making the policies towards the upliftment and empowerment and assistance like accessible campaign. And we have differently abled act also. So providing protection to that. So means that together with treating everyone equally, that is treating everyone equally, along with that we also protecting everyone, and by considering their circumstances. That is why we have introduced reservation in Indian, that is a reservation for SC, reservation for ST, and recently you have seen in the news the EWS reservation. So EWS reservation was introduced through the 103rd Constitutional Amendment Act, and this Amendment Act introduced 10% reservation for economically weaker section. And some judgment, some interpretation, and some case were going on in our judiciary, in especially Supreme Court judgment recently also upheld the validity of the Constitutional Amendment Acts. Because their equal protection law under Article 14 provide this kind of protection to every person irrespective of their, that is every person if their circumstances require little support. So through that we can achieve equity, that is everyone will get an access to the resources because they are experiencing a socially, economically, or educationally backwardness. And because of that, equal protection of our Indian concept or Indian constitution is also important. So when we are studying the concept of equality before law or equal protection of law, we should also understand where we have borrowed these concepts. When we talk about the salient features of Indian constitution, you can see that some of the features that we have borrowed from different foreign countries. Because when we are drafting our constitution during 1946 to 49, our constitutional makers also referred the existing constitution of the world, like the British, American, Soviet Union, Irish constitution, French constitution, Australian constitution, South African constitution, like that. So we have borrowed the same way, we have borrowed these concepts from different countries. And in this case, we are explaining regarding the equality before law and equal protection law. So equality before law that we have borrowed from the British Constitution. That means this concept is originated from the British constitutions, and which say that absence of any special privilege. And we know that in Britain we have seen the royal family is also there, and normal citizen is also there. Even though they are following constitutional monarchy, that is, the royal family member will be the head of the states. Even though that system exists in Britain, but till now they are following the law, that is equality before law. That is nobody enjoying any special privileges in front of the law. Everyone is subject and equal subjection of every person in that particular country, and no person is above the law. And this concept, when we are talking about no privilege or absence of special privilege, that is nobody enjoying any special privilege, that is a negative concept. So equality before law is a British concept, that is a negative concept. When we are considering the equal protection law here, this concept is originated from American Constitution. So that means equal protection of law that we can see in American constitutions or American society, where they are treating everyone equally under equal circumstances. Because if poor is require some support and assistance from the government, and the government will consider them in that circumstances. By considering that circumstances, will be giving some reservation or a supporting system or assistance will be provided. It can be in educational ways, financial ways, or other ways. So through this, an equity will be achieved. That is similar application of the same law to the all persons who are similarly situated according to their strata. And like should be treated alike without any discrimination is also the term used for equal protection of law. So that means we are giving some supporting system to achieve equity. That's a positive concept. That is avoiding or eliminating the inequality within the concept of equality before law. Through that, we can achieve equity and ultimately. That is why equal protection law is important, which is American Constitution. When you are confused with which one is British Constitution, which one is we have borrowed from American Constitution, when you are confused whenever any question asked, the equality before law, you can see the before law in that terms, you can see a B, that is equality before law. That is everybody treated equally in front of the law. That is B you can see. So this B you can represent as British Constitution. So British Constitution, that is B. That means equality before law is a British Constitution. And the other concept is American Constitution. That way you can remember easily that technique you can use. If any other questions comes, which one is positive and which one is negative? In that context, equal protection of law, that you can see there is a P in there, that is positive discrimination or reservation is also given to some people in order to achieve equity. That is a reservation to LGBT or a reservation to women, reservation to SC or ST, or reservation to OBC or EWS. In any kind of this reservation provided to them, especially under their circumstances, we have to treat them equally in order to achieve equity. So this is a positive concept. So the P, protection, that is the P that you can associate with the concept, the positive P here. So both are P. So this also help you, these techniques also help you to confirm and make a clarity and avoid that confusion regarding which one is negative and which one is positive concept. A short techniques that you can adopt whenever we are solving any particular prelims question if they ask in the future. So this is the concept with reference to equality before law, and I have explained the concept well in this particular video. If you have any doubts, you can also comment in the sections. You can give your reviews and your doubts regarding this concept in the comment section. Thank you.